Hey guys, got the next section of fence, got it all cleaned off, real good and clear. I'll kind of show you just my method of how I usually do it. This is called polyrope from Premier1. In the past I've used pretty much the same thing, but it was called poly twine. It's a little bit thinner. And since this is my actual property that I will be staying on, I got the higher up stuff, and it's literally nylon, like plastic, and then it has, I don't know if you probably can't see it, little shiny wires going through it, and that is what makes it hot, is the wires. If you hit this stuff with a line trimmer, this stuff not as much as the twine, but if you hit it with a line trimmer you can cut right through it. So basically what I do is I'll go through, and you just, at least with the post I have, you can just literally just pop these suckers right up, at least go to the third run. If you have enough slack you can go up to the fourth, and then you really got good clear spot to buzz underneath it without damaging it. And I'll literally just, I'll walk down, pop up like 2 of them, and then on the walk back to where I started I'll line trim it, and then walk back down to the next spot. And that basically just gives, that walking back and forth a little bit might seem unproductive, but the reason I do it is that it gives my back a break from line trimming, because I'm over 6 feet tall, and my experience is that line trimmers were not designed, some people call them string trimmers, but where I come from we call them line trimmers. They're not designed for people as tall as me, so I have to kind of bend over to get it to touch the ground. So that walking back and forth gives my back a break. And as you can see, I mean, this is pretty tall grass. Areas of it are up to my waist and pretty tangled up. So this fence has been, it was installed months ago, but this section of the property my animals aren't on. And as long as my dogs think it's hot and they won't leave, I'm not really worried about predators, because we put one of our Great Pyrenees in with the sheep every night, and that's when you really have to worry about predators, is at night. So I'm not really worried. That's why this section of fence wasn't hot yet, but now that I'm going to make it hot, I needed to get it really good and clear. But it was really overgrown because it wasn't on. Now that this is good and clear and I turn it on and keep it hot, it'll grow up around it, but the fence won't actually be getting touched. So just to give a idea of what it looked like before I started, we'll go over and look at this next section that I will be doing next, or it'll be the next section I make hot. I'm not doing this part next. See if I can manage to not fall down. But yeah, you can see it, it's pretty just overgrown and just tangled up like crazy. So that's why you want to keep them clear and keep it hot. And every once in a while, if you've never used this poly twine, or poly rope I should say, it does stretch out. This stuff hadn't been tightened up since I first put it out, and about a week after you put it in, you are going to want to go back and tighten it up. And these tensioners are real simple. You just click them over and it just twists up there and makes it real tight. You want your fence to be good and tight, because if you think about it, like I was explaining, the wires is what shocks you, which is not very much of what that rope is. The other stuff is really to give visibility so the animals see it and know to stay away from it. If this is loose and you push on it and it's real loose, it'll just give, and it doesn't really push back into you, so you're not going to get good contact and you're not going to get as good of a shock. So you really want to keep it good and tight. Definitely anytime that you go through and you have to clear underneath them, I always go through and kind of check it and make sure it's good and tight. After you've done it a couple times, you're really not going to have to do it very much anymore. It kind of just reaches its stretch and you're good. But also talking about the good and tight fence, I really want to stress with the netting, which we use some. I like using a different system now, but with the netting, you really want to keep the netting good and tight because of that same reason. But yeah, so that's it for this section getting cleared. And basically next what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to go through and you connect, each one of these strands are going to get connected to each other all the way up. They'll all get connected to each other, and you do that on this end, which is the end that you tighten up, and on the other end that we started on, that was the end where the end insulators are. You're going to do that too, And you do that because you want the electricity to be able to flow all the way through it really seamlessly, and it'll make it more effective. So that'll be what I'm doing next, and I'll show that in the video, and I hope you all have a good day.